Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. The bag has been secured. If you saw the thumbnail and title, you know we are here to talk about the brand new Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario. I ran to the store this morning to make sure I had my Ethereal Eyes Nature palette, which is the third iteration of Mario's Ethereal palette, and we will be comparing this one to the two previous ones at the end of today's video. Here is what the outside packaging of this one looks like. The only difference between this and the previous ones is we now have this like Mario signature with the heart at the front of the palette, which when I saw it, I thought, is my palette signed? Like, did I win something? But no, everyone's palette has it. I'm not special. It's in this like metallic silver font. And here's what the back of the palette looks like. The palette is cruelty-free. It has a 12-month shelf life, which take that with a grain of salt. My oldest Mario palette is 2 years old now, and it still performs beautifully. And just like the previous ones, this one is also made here in the USA. Let's go ahead and open it. Here's what the outside of the packaging looks like. It has a white plastic exterior. The first one, I believe, is the only one that had a metal exterior to it. Last year's and this year's palettes both have the plastic feel, and then the shades are simply numbered from 1 all the way down to 12. I'm gonna let you peek at it before I peek at it. Take a look right there. Ooh, it looks great on the camera. Let me see. It is a stunning palette, and it's so wild to me how we get excited about palettes like this one, because I am excited about this palette, and we're like, oh yes, Mario came out with a green palette. It is not a green palette, okay? It has one green shade. It is a beautiful green shade, and it goes very well with the natural looking shades all around it, but at the end of the day, it is one green shade. Am I excited about it? Honestly, jumping for joy. Take a good look at what the palette looks like. We have, from the looks of it, 5 truly matte colors. Then we have some of his ethereal shades. If I had to guess, I'm seeing 4 ethereal shades, 2 shimmers, and then this formula right here, which is mostly matte with like a sprinkle of shimmer in there. So the 4 ethereal shades are these 2 and these 2. This is a regular shimmer, that's a regular shimmer. This is the one that is mostly matte with the sprinkle of shimmer, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes right there. Let's go ahead and go for the swatches, and I'm just going to go across as per usual. So here's shade 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, which is the green. So these 2 are those beautiful ethereal formula shades, and then 8. Take a look right there. Honestly, these are stunning, and I usually love the formulas of these ethereal palettes from Makeup by Mario, because these are shimmers for people who want a little bit of shimmer but in a very graceful way. I like the chunky glitters. I like the super fun out there sparkles. I do also love the ethereal shimmers, but I know that a lot of people out there want the more tame types of shimmers, and this is what those are. I feel like the name definitely matches what you're getting in this product. You do get beautiful ethereal shades that are going to make your eyes stand out beautifully. These definitely catch the light, but in a very elegant, sublime type of way. You'll see once I create the looks. I love these shimmers. So here are the last 4. Here's shade 9, 10, 11, and 12. So check it out. Here's the entire palette swatched. It looks absolutely stunning. I really like it. Now that we've seen the swatches, let's create some looks. And I'm going to start with the shade 4 right here. And I'm going to add this warm matte color as a transition all throughout the crease of my eye. I am blending it back and forth with a reference number 15 brush. So any thick fluffy brush you have should do the trick. Build it up to your desired level of intensity. I am reaching mine now, and then I'm going to darken it up with the shade 8, adding the shade 8 to the outer third of the eyelid and tapping it in place right there first. Tap it, and then I'm going to switch my brush around and blend the colors into one another on the crease. And for this first look, I'm going to go as dark as you can take this palette, which is of course the shade like 12 here, which is this very deep matte brown color. And so with that same brush, I'm going to grab it and layer it over my previous shades on the outer third of the eyelid. I'm going to add a bit right under my lower lash line as well, down here, and then with the tip of my brush just blend it into the rest of the colors. And if you need to go back and add a bit more, then go ahead and do that. And the reason I wanted to use this shade and make it as dark as I could was first so that I could show you how dark this palette goes, right? Second, because I want to use this reddish shimmer right here, which is pretty dark, and I felt like we had to make a very deep smoky eye in order for that one to look its best. So now that I've blended my mattes like that, I am going to go into that red shimmer shade, shade 11, and I'm going to tap it from the center of my eyelid and back. So just with my finger, tapping that color into the deep brown and building it up till my heart is content. Just like so. With a flat brush, this one is from the new Nikki LaRose and BK Beauty collaboration, Set Brush number 24. I'm going to use this shade here, shade number 3, and I'm going to start by tapping it on the edge of the red shimmer and tapping it forward from there. So tap, tap, tapping it, and I'm going to blend it over the red right here in the center of the eyelid. And then I'm going to keep moving forward all the way to the inner corner. With that same brush, I'm going to grab shade number 2, which is this warm yellowy type shimmer color. And this is going to be my innermost corner color. And also I'm going to define my lid a bit with it by bringing it halfway through the crease, kind of making a sharp line right there so that you can see where the shimmer starts versus where the mattes were. I like to do that at the front sometimes. Makes the eyelid look bigger as well. It's kind of like a cut crease without fuzzing with it too much. And then under my eyes, I already have a bit of that deep brown color. So with a small brush and shade number 8, this is a Shoto 01 from Refer, I'm going to just smoke the under eye all the way to the tear duct area and just diffuse that deep brown so that things look a bit more natural down here, just like so. And so take a look. This right here is pretty much the completed first look with this palette. I'm going to add a warm brown eyeliner to the waterline to complement that reddish color. This is Cocoa from Laura Mercier. And I'm also going to add mascara. I'm back with just mascara on. I went ahead and used the Makeup by Mario mascara. It actually looks really good. Take a look right here at the finished first look with this Makeup by Mario palette. I might add some lashes later on. I'm not feeling them yet because the mascara is looking good, but just to show you, I might add some lashes later on. But so far, this right here is the finished look number 1. Of course, I will use the green. I left it for the second look on purpose, but I gotta say, this right here is beautiful, even without that green shade. So let's get on with the second look, and I'm going to start with the shade 5 for this one. This rosier nudie color I think is going to be great for a transition shade, and with a thick fluffy brush I am going to blend it all across the crease of my eye. It is a perfect nude color. It's like a bit rosy, but also it has a lot of brown in it. It's a very nice color for a transition shade, and it has a lot more pigment than this other color here that I used as my first transition shade for this eye look, which looked good, but I wanted it to give me a bit more oomph. I had to build it up quite a bit, while this one I haven't had to build up at all. Adding some more of that shade to the outer third of my eyelid back here. And now that I'm content with that color, just to try it, I'm going to try the color 1 here, which is that matte vanilla color that has a bit of shimmer on it, and I'm going to add it right under the brow. Honestly, just to try it out. I feel like those shades are not shades I usually go for. Yeah, I don't like the sparkle in there. I wish it was just a vanilla matte shade. I'm going to deepen things up with shade number 9 down here, and I'm using a smaller blending brush, just tapping on the outer third of my eyelid and then blending that color to the crease, deepening things up, and that deepened everything up beautifully. I love it. I'm trying to pick which ethereal shades I want to use in addition to the green, which is going to be the star of the show. And I'm in between these two down here because they're the ones I haven't used. So in order to pick, I'm just going to put them side by side, see which one looks better. I'm going to choose this one. Not because I like it better, I actually like this one better, but because it's just a bit darker and I want to put it towards the smoky part of the eye. So I'm going to use that one next to the green, and that is shade number 10 down here. So I'm going to grab it with my finger, and from the center out, I'm just going to tap it over my matte brown color, just like so. And then we're grabbing shade 7, which is that beautiful greenish ethereal shimmer shade. And I'm going to add it the rest of the way in throughout the eyelid, over the previous shimmer a bit, and just tap it all across the eyelid. I'm going to use shade 6 as my inner corner color because I still want to use it somewhere. So I'm going to add it right here because it is just a bit brighter, I think, than the green. Maybe it's the same level, I don't know. The point is I want to use it, so I'm adding it right here with a teeny tiny brush. And back to shade 7, I'm going to define things up here with shade 7. And so here's what the top of the eye looks like. Beautiful. I'm going to get an olive shade and put it in the waterline of my eye. This is the Killer Liner from Too Faced in the shade Killer Camo. With a Eyeshadow 01, I'm going to grab the darkest brown we used, which was shade 9. And I'm going to add it right underneath my lower lash line on the outer half specifically. With my transition color, I'm going to blend that out just to give it the same smokiness we did at the top. And I'm leaving a tiny little gap between the transition color under the eyes and the lashes because I want to bring the sparkle underneath. So with my tiny flat brush, which is number 23 from the Nikki LaRose BK Beauty collection, I'm going to go back to my green shade and I'm going to add that shimmery green color right under my lower lash line. That was a good choice. That looks super pretty there. And so here's the finished second look before mascara. That's all I'm missing, just some mascara. Like I said, maybe I'll do some lashes. I still haven't decided. I decided to go ahead and do some very natural lashes with these looks, but here is the second look just with the Makeup by Mario mascara on, no lashes yet. I'm back with both looks fully finished, so I went ahead and did Ardell Demi Wispy lashes, super natural, just to add a bit more fluff to the eye looks, and I am obsessed with the way both eye looks came out. Let me know in the comment section which look is your favorite. I gotta say, I'll let you know what my favorite is a little bit later on. I did also do a lip, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Liner Duo in medium, and I'm only using the contouring shade all around my lip, and then in the middle, the juicy part is the YSL Candy Glaze in the shade number 15, which is honestly beautiful. You know, I've been raving about the YSL Candy Glaze formula forever, but still every time I put it on, I'm like, oh my god, this is a good lipstick. I then proceeded to almost mess up my makeup, but I caught myself on time. I got the Fox palette from Hourglass out, and I was thinking this was the Deer palette, like the Color Story, which is the one I want to reach for because the Fox is too dark for me. So here's the Deer palette now, and I just want to kind of mix these two and apply them like that. Honestly, that looks really pretty. Adding a bit of the bronzer to finish things up. And so here's the finished look for both eyeshadow looks. Honestly, really love the way everything came out. I had an absolute blast playing with this new Makeup by Mario palette. I will point out though that I felt specifically the lighter shades, the lighter matte shades, this one here and that one there, I felt like they weren't as pigmented as I expected them to be. But other than that, the palette performed beautifully. These mattes were wonderful. But as always, what takes the cake is the ethereal shades. The ethereal shades are incredible. They catch the light so beautiful. These are so elegant and so glamorous. So do I recommend the new Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Nature palette? Absolutely. It is beautiful. Go for it if you are into very natural eyeshadow looks, but you can dabble into like the tiniest pop of color. This palette right here is for you. Now let's go ahead and get into some comparisons because I promised you I was going to compare these to the previous years. And so here's what the Makeup by Mario Nature palette looks like in comparison to the original, the first one, the Ethereal Eyes palette. As you can see, there are some shades that look pretty similar to one another. In particular, I'm thinking this one and this one. Take a look right there. One's a bit more cool tone, one's a bit more rosy, but very, very close. And then we have shades like these dark, deep browns right here. Those are very, very similar to one another, but then you also have a bunch of other shades that kind of make each palette have their own personality. And I will go ahead and show you side-by-side swatches so you can see this color and this color look honestly identical to one another. And there are two more shades that I'm thinking look very, very similar. This one here and this one here. In this case, they are pretty different. So we have three shades that are pretty close, and then the rest of them kind of do their own thing. Next, here's the new Natural palette next to last year's Moonlit palette, and these are pretty different. There are maybe two shades that are similar. I'm thinking this one and this one, although this is much warmer. Yeah, this is much warmer. And then maybe this brown with this brown, but also I think these might, yeah, pretty different in depth. This one versus this one. Lastly, the very light matte vanilla shades. I honestly prefer the one from last year's palette because it didn't have the sparkle in it, but overall these are pretty different colors from one another. I couldn't help myself. I did already do side-by-side swatches of all three palettes, so let me go ahead and show you that. I went ahead and swatched the original Ethereal Eyes palette right here next to the new one. So you can see the Nature palette swatched right here, and then the original Ethereal Eyes right next to it. And I gotta say, I did notice a bit of a change, specifically in the formulation of the matte colors. And I don't know why he did this, because why mess with something that's already close to perfection? You can see how pigmented the matte colors are in the original palette versus the pigmentation in the new Nature palette. And I honestly find that the pigmentation changed quite a bit, because every single matte shade swatched lighter and a lot less creamy feeling than when I swatched the original Ethereal Eyes palette. I'm about to do the exact same thing with the Moonlight palette, and we'll compare that. The Moonlight palette also had a really good matte formula, so I don't know why he changed that. Back with the swatches next to the Moonlight palette. So with this one, I didn't notice as much of a difference, but the first one I felt like the shades just felt creamier to the touch and swatched a little bit more pigmented. There's honestly not that much of a difference, but I did notice it, so I wanted to point it out to you. So here's what it looks like versus last year's palette, and here is all three of them, in case anyone is curious. I truly hope that all of the swatches and the eyeshadow looks were helpful. If you guys liked today's video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you are interested in the Makeup by Mario palette, please shop for it using my link or the tagged product in the video. Whenever you shop from my links, it helps out my channel. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye!